Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much. I appreciate all your support. If you're interested in subscribing to the channel, you can do so over at patreon.com under Engelgeist. You can choose a subscription level and receive the daily forecast there a day early. You also get readings that are only available over there. So you can check that out. Or you can like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it out. All of that is forms of support and greatly appreciated. And as I always say, this is a timeless reading. It is originally intended for October 19th, which is Monday, but it's not necessarily set for that. It is for the highest good of the greater collective. Therefore, use it whenever you see it, kind of thing. And also just sort of take whatever works and you can leave the rest. If it doesn't fit, that doesn't mean that anything's wrong or anything like that. If it's not making sense for what's going on in your life, that's completely fine. You might just be working on something different. Sorry, I'm a little distracted today. What was I saying? Oh, and if you make any decisions in regards to your life because of this reading, those decisions give you a responsibility. So keeping that in mind. Sorry guys, it's just been really strange and tough couple of days. Okay. So let's see what we've got going on in the cards. So we have the Wall card up. So this is interesting because I feel like this image is in the midweek card from yesterday from the weekly. I noticed that in yesterday's literary witch. I can't remember her name, but her word, I believe, was rebellion. And this wall was around her waist, if I remember, and even had the eye on the door. And to me, this feels a little bit like, obviously, guardedness. Some of us may have our walls up. Remember, we had, what was that first card? Agatha Christie, which was, I believe, trickery. Where I said, you know, there might be stuff that we're figuring out, solving. We might be being, you know, fooled or things coming to light. With this Wall card, to me, it speaks to this idea of being guarded. Some of us might be sort of hiding behind our own sort of self-made walls, if that makes sense. The last time I saw this, we had this card earlier in the month, and I felt a lot more of a sense of security with that. And I'm not so sure if that's not just me personally. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to take myself out of the reading as best as possible. But I feel like, to me, this doesn't feel as grounded or as secure as it did when we first saw this card earlier in the month. To me, there was like a caution. This to me feels more like a nerves, a worry, like a distrust in a way. And I don't know if you guys are experiencing that. I wouldn't know unless you guys leave me a comment. But that's sort of what I'm feeling, that I'm trying to decipher. I hope that's a message. I mean, I'm not hoping that you guys are in fear or worry and distrust, but I do feel like there's a withdrawal in this card where we need to withdraw to sort of observe a situation, maybe a person, maybe our life, whatever's going on, from a space of security and safety. Maybe some of us don't feel so safe, especially with that trickery card underneath, that Agatha Christie card. I don't think that trickery card is such a bad card in the sense that, you know, something will come to light and it will be made more clear. But I think that some of us are, with this Wall card, we might be finding ourselves very cautious around certain people, situations, things like that. Does that make sense? We might be separating ourselves off from the world on a global scale, right? Maybe we find ourselves watching the world around us and feeling like we don't feel a part of it or something, right? This could have that sort of a vibe to it too. So let's see what the Queen of the Moon Oracle has to say. I also think that this wall is setting up for that midweek rebellion card. Like, this is the beginnings of that. Like, strength will come out from behind this wall. We will come out stronger towards the midweek, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've got Master number 44, Supermoon Attraction, and we've seen this before. We are attracting to us, I'm just going to say this right out of the gate, that moon is bigger than life, right? I mean, it's right in our face. We're looking dead at it. It's coming towards us through the sort of haze and clouds. I think that, if anything, I think that there is, I wouldn't call it a warning per se, but I feel like we need to be mindful of what we're looking at, how we're perceiving the world. Are we at a distance with the world, or are we at one with the world, right? And I think that it's real easy to slip in and out of that connection. This supermoon attraction makes me feel like, it makes me think about the fact that if we are connected to our world in sort of like a healthy, positive way, we don't have a need for maybe this wall or the distrust or the sort of worry that I feel in it, right? If we perpetuate and focus solely on, it's almost as if, like, if we build this wall or this security around this sense of worry, then we almost attract in more of that worry. Does that make sense? And remember, underneath this card is that Agatha Christie card of trickery. We could be the ones tricking ourselves, right? We could be the ones that are sort of focusing on what's not working versus maybe what is, and missing some of the point, or missing, like, attracting to us exactly what more of what we don't want, if that makes any sense. And the reason why I say that is because of that wisdom stone that we saw on yesterday's reading. That is the underpinning grounding stone of the week. There's a wisdom or a knowledge that we're gaining from this week. So if we find this week to be challenging, a little bit daunting, or maybe even scary, or where we want to separate, there's a mastery that can be had here. There's a learning that can be had here. There's a power within these experiences that teaches us how to, say, maybe interact with them in a masterful way, that we gain wisdom. That wisdom stone was also on, I can't think, it's not malachite. Sorry, my brain is just obsidian, right, which wards off negativity. So to me, for those of us that might be more worriers or pessimistic thinkers, and I can slip into that just as much as the next person. So I'm, acknowledging that it's not a bad thing to worry. Sometimes our worry is what keeps us safe and secure, but sometimes if we let it run rampant, it also puts us into a place of fear where we stop growing or we stop moving, right? And so I think that might be why we saw the word wisdom on the obsidian stone, is to remind us that, not to fool ourselves into only seeing what's not working, or to wall ourselves off and be paying attention only to the dramas of life. That as we feed those things or give those things attention, we also attract more of that same energy or more of those same things towards us. Does that make sense? And so let's look to the grounding stone really quick to see. Okay. And we have more obsidian. This is snowflake obsidian. So again, we're talking about warding off negativity. The word is passion. So to me, this brings me to this place of, what is it that we desire? What is it that we want? Are we afraid of our desires? Do we believe that we deserve our desires? Do we believe that we deserve the things that we want, like at our deepest core level? I believe that with this 44 supermoon attractor card, we can attract that to ourselves, but we can't necessarily if we're hiding or if we are in resistance to the rest of what's going on around us. Does that make sense? So when I say ground in your passion, ground in what's good, ground in what's exciting, ground in what's beautiful, find the beauty in the small things if you can. Oh, sorry, I'm just a little emotional. Find the joy. And hopefully what's going to happen with this supermoon card is we'll attract more of that to ourselves, right? We will attract and create more of that at a greater level where we can feel, more passion, more pleasure, more excitement, and less sort of maybe fear, worry, or guardedness. Does that make sense? So let me read these. And please, if anybody is feeling this or these cards are making sense, please leave me a comment and let me know. Only from the standpoint that sometimes these readings, I connect with them too, and I'm wondering, am I reading them through the filter? I mean, of course, some of me is in every reading, right? Because I'm the one doing the reading, but I want to make sure that these aren't, like this morning, I prayed to take myself out of the reading, but I could certainly see where this reading fits in my life, if that makes sense. So I want to make sure that I'm not reading my life stuff in your guys' reading. But I certainly see where I connect to these readings. So, okay. Let me go to wall really quick. Sorry, excuse me. Wall is protection, obstacles, and boundaries. I definitely feel that with this card. And then supermoon number 44. I think that there's something very powerful that we're working on this week too, even if it's through a challenging time. So if you guys are, and the other thing I will remind you, and I reminded you guys yesterday too, and I need to remind myself, is that we are in kind of like a little retrograde season with Mars and Mercury both in retrograde. So that's going to make for harder communication, tougher situations, more obstacles. If we focus on the dismay or upset or annoyance of those obstacles, then we could potentially attract more of that, right? So that's just a very simple aside, not to blame everything on astrology, but it is going on. All right, 44, supermoon attraction. You can be magnetic to others and attract the good things in life. You can repel what you no longer wish to attract. Be ready for opportunity. Avoid extremes that might cause negative imbalance in your body or mind. Think of connections greater than yourself. I can attract what I wish and repel what I do not. A supermoon is a full moon that is the closest distance from the Earth in its revolutions. It is also referred to as a perigee moon. The supermoon looks huge in the sky. And being so close to the Earth, it influences the oceans more than usual, causing more extreme tides than are normal. Sorry guys. These changes in gravity and force are certainly, I can't read because of my tears, are certainly noticeable. And for most people who follow the cycles of the moon and do magical workings aligned with them, it is the energy of the supermoons that is most important. If a normal full moon gives us an opportunity to have rocket power under our intentions, a supermoon greatly magnifies this energy into a supernova. If we are growing, we all want to attract experiences into our lives. This can be positive relationships, a lifestyle that suits us better, clarity, love, prosperity, creativity, the list goes on. Equally, we also perhaps wish to be able to repel the experiences we don't want. It is important then not just know what we want, but to be able to recognize what we don't. Attraction isn't just about what we accept, but also how we discern. Blindly attracting everything we think into our lives rarely makes us happy, but being focused about it does. This card also suggests that we think globally and for the whole. If you are making intentions on the supermoon, include one for the planet. Companion stone or metal is magnetite. That is your forecast for the day, you guys. I hope it makes sense. Please give me a like and a share or subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Remember, stick with your passions, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.